When my wife, Sarah, told me she was going on a weekend trip with her college friends, I didn't think much of it. She had done this before, and I trusted her. But something felt off this time. Maybe it was the way she hesitated when I asked for details, or how she seemed overly defensive when I asked which hotel they'd booked. My gut told me something was wrong, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. A few days before her trip, my best friend Jake stopped by for a beer. He had always been the one to call out red flags, even when I ignored them. I casually mentioned Sarah's trip, expecting him to brush it off, but instead, he gave me a skeptical look. "Dude, are you sure she's going with her friends?" he asked, leaning back in his chair. "Yeah, why?" He shrugged. "I don't know, man. I saw her last week at the coffee shop downtown. She was with some guy. Looked pretty cozy." My stomach twisted. "Probably just a coworker." "Maybe," he said, but he didn't look convinced. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every suspicious moment over the past few months. The late-night texts, the sudden increase in work meetings, and now this trip that she refused to give me details about. My gut screamed at me. Something wasn't right. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I decided to check her location. We had shared our locations on our phones years ago for safety reasons, and she had never turned hers off. But when I opened the app, my heart dropped. She wasn't in the city where she claimed her friends had booked a hotel. She was 2 hours away, in a small town I didn't recognize. I called Jake immediately. "I need a favor." The next morning, we drove out to the town. I had no plan, just anger and heartbreak fueling me. As we got closer, I searched for hotels nearby and found one that seemed likely. We parked across the street and waited. And then, I saw her. Sarah stepped out of the hotel, laughing, her arm wrapped around a man I had never seen before. He kissed her cheek as they walked toward a car. My stomach turned to ice. Jake swore under his breath, gripping the steering wheel. "What do you want to do?" he asked. I wanted to storm over, scream, demand answers. But instead, I took out my phone and started recording. I needed proof. Sarah and her mystery man got into their car, and we followed at a distance. They drove to a small cafe, acting like a happy couple, oblivious to the fact that I was watching. I took more pictures, my hands shaking. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I walked straight into the cafe, my heart pounding. Sarah was mid-laugh when she saw me, her face going pale. The man next to her looked confused until realization hit him. "Enjoying your girl's trip?" I asked, my voice eerily calm. She opened her mouth, then closed it. No excuses, no lies. She knew she was caught. The man muttered something and got up to leave, but I wasn't interested in him. I turned back to Sarah, holding up my phone. I hope it was worth it. And then, I walked out. That night, she called me over and over. I didn't answer. Instead, I sent her the pictures I had taken and blocked her number. I didn't need to hear her excuses. I had all the proof I needed, and just like that, my marriage was over.